This is not something that a decent human being could do.
A leaked old hard drive from Canada suddenly exposed the full extent of Meghan Markle's shocking ambition. It turned out that her marriage to Prince Harry had been nothing more than a meticulously calculated stepping stone, allowing her to quietly steal the royal family's treasures, wealth, and prestige. The conflict erupted the moment Prince William immediately launched a discreet operation to contain the rapidly escalating media storm. At the same time, astonishing new evidence unexpectedly surfaced from Meghan's former lover, the chef. A series of handwritten letters and sensitive photographs were brought to light, revealing unmistakable signs that Meghan had been secretly preparing an escape route and searching for a new source of support in case her marriage to Harry ended in divorce. What ruthless method will Prince William use to deal once and for all with his deeply calculating sister-in-law, and what fate awaits Meghan as she faces the full fury of the royal family? Watch this video until the very end to uncover the complete truth and the final outcome hidden behind the velvet curtain of the monarchy. The incident began in the most unexpected way when the former Toronto restaurant owned by the chef, Meghan Markle's ex-boyfriend, was forced to close for renovations. To prepare for the extensive remodeling, he had no choice but to liquidate all of the restaurant's equipment and server systems. Among the assets scheduled for disposal were old data archives dating back to 2015 and 2016, including reservation emails, private event schedules, and communication logs with VIP guests who had frequently visited the restaurant. While clearing out the premises and gathering equipment for removal, an old laptop, along with its backup hard drive, was accidentally sold off in the second-hand market without anyone wiping the sensitive information stored inside. A second-hand electronics dealer who managed to purchase the bargain brought it home and powered it on to inspect it. The moment the device booted up and he accessed the archived folders, he accidentally stumbled upon an enormous treasure trove of information. Inside were countless private messages, exchanged emails, and detailed schedule entries, documenting the period when the chef and Meghan Markle had been deeply involved in their relationship. Even more alarming, the cache of confidential files preserved a step-by-step blueprint that Meghan had allegedly mapped out to gain access to London's aristocratic circles, and eventually Prince Harry himself. What made the discovery even more startling was that she had quietly crafted this elaborate plan while she was still living under the same roof with the chef in Toronto. Realizing the enormous value of such sensitive files, the second-hand dealer immediately saw an opportunity to profit. He secretly reached out to several tabloid outlets specializing in sensational celebrity stories, offering to sell the private messages, personal journals, and confidential correspondence for an astronomical price. The first reports appeared only as vague leak rumors, but they rapidly spread at astonishing speed. The explosive revelations about Meghan Markle's past and her alleged ambitions instantly ignited fierce debate across social media, where discussions erupted with overwhelming intensity. Will this earth-shattering revelation reach the British royal family? And how will Prince William respond after his sister-in-law's alleged scheme is finally brought into the light? After receiving an urgent alert from media contacts about the shocking data leak in Toronto, Prince William's office at Kensington Palace sprang into action without a moment's delay. Fully aware of the devastating damage these revelations could inflict upon the monarchy, William was furious, yet calm enough to move swiftly to contain the crisis. Without hesitation, he personally drafted and sent an email directly to Meghan Markle's private address in California, demanding that she provide a full explanation of everything that was unfolding. The email was written in an exceptionally stern, cold, and uncompromising tone, leaving no doubt about the Prince of Wales's firm position. Meghan, my office has just received reports from media sources that a substantial amount of your personal data, private messages, and old emails from your years in Toronto are currently being offered for sale to tabloid outlets. The contents of these materials directly reference plans to gain access to the royal family and involve Harry personally. I require you to explain immediately exactly what is happening. Let me make one point absolutely clear. Under no circumstances may any detail of this scandal be allowed to damage the reputation, dignity, or public image of the British royal family. Any irresponsible action or any deliberate decision to ignore the situation that results in further leaks of this information will not be tolerated. I expect your immediate, serious, and truthful response. William. Despite the urgent nature of the situation and the Prince of Wales's uncompromising warning, Meghan Markle chose complete silence. Not a single response was sent back to London, and her refusal to reply only made the entire situation appear even more serious and alarming than ever before. Determined to prevent unnecessary turmoil across the international media and safeguard the highest dignity of the monarchy, Prince William refused to wait for his sister-in-law's cooperation. Instead, he immediately instructed his closest aide to launch a covert recovery operation. Acting under William's orders, the aide assumed the identity of a representative from an anonymous investment fund and quickly established contact with the second-hand dealer in Canada. Through discreet professional measures and the offer of an enormous sum of money, the anonymous investment fund successfully purchased the hard drive containing the complete original archive before any of the sensitive materials could be distributed further or splashed across the front pages of major newspapers. Once the secured hard drive had been safely transported to London, Prince William personally began examining every single file stored inside. As the private messages appeared one after another across the computer screen, the Prince of Wales was left utterly stunned by the true extent of his sister-in-law's alleged ambitions. The emails and messages painted a stark and disturbing picture. Meghan had never genuinely entered the royal family out of sincere love or any desire to serve the monarchy. From the very beginning, her sole objective had allegedly been to enter the royal family. Use Prince Harry as both a puppet and an effective instrument to steal the monarchy's treasures, prestige, and priceless assets. Even after achieving her goal of acquiring status and wealth, she had allegedly intended to continue maintaining this calculated, self-serving relationship with Harry as a launching pad for her own future ambitions. That entire disturbing agenda was laid out in unmistakable detail through the candid messages Meghan had once exchanged with the chef years earlier. Throughout those conversations, she openly described her plan to exploit Harry and repeatedly urged her then-boyfriend to help her carry it out. However, after reading the messages filled with what he considered reckless and wildly ambitious ideas, the chef concluded that Meghan's thinking was far too absurd, unrealistic, and dangerous. He firmly refused to take part in the plan. Even after being categorically rejected by her boyfriend, Meghan allegedly refused to abandon her objective. She continued sending message after message, persuading him, pressuring him, and doing everything she could to force him into becoming her accomplice until the very final days before their relationship completely collapsed. Those relentless messages of persuasion have now become ironclad evidence resting securely in Prince William's hands. How much longer can Meghan's silence last when the punishments from her past are far from over? Just as the public was still struggling to process the initial leak rumors, another media earthquake came crashing down upon Meghan Markle. This time, the devastating blow did not come from anonymous gossip brokers or indirect sources, but from the first-hand testimony of someone who claimed to have witnessed everything. A man identifying himself as the former assistant to the chef in Toronto unexpectedly stepped forward before the media and declared that he was ready to expose the full truth about Meghan's alleged actions behind Prince Harry's back. The former assistant publicly released an exceptionally detailed statement revealing the lingering and ambiguous relationship that Meghan had allegedly continued to maintain with her former boyfriend, even after achieving her goal of entering the royal family. His statement was quoted in full as follows: "I have decided to speak out because I can no longer remain silent while the public continues to be deceived by Meghan Markle's carefully crafted image. The truth is that throughout her time as a member of the British royal family, and while living with Prince Harry, Meghan never truly cut off contact with my former boss, the chef in Toronto. From time to time, she secretly called him, sent him messages, and found every possible way to stay in touch. She asked him to serve as her culinary consultant, while also pressuring him to design and create entire menus for her personal commercial ventures. More specifically, she wanted my boss to provide unpaid support for her lifestyle brand as ever. as well as for the promotional events and high-profile receptions organized by the Archewell Foundation, which she and Harry were operating together. My boss is an honorable man. He agreed to meet Meghan several times at discreet locations solely to reject her requests, firmly and directly urging her to pursue her own path and respect the lives they had both moved on to. Yet despite those unmistakable refusals, Meghan shamelessly continued trying to depend on him. During their private meetings, she never behaved with the restraint expected of a member of the royal family. Instead, she repeatedly acted in a flirtatious, highly inappropriate and unprofessional manner in front of my boss in an effort to benefit from his talent for her own personal gain. I possess complete evidence to support everything I have just stated. This direct and uncompromising accusation immediately ignited a firestorm of public outrage. People were stunned to realize that behind the image of an independent, self-reliant woman devoted to her family life in Montecito, Meghan Markle had allegedly continued relying on old emotional manipulation tactics with her former boyfriend. Despite having obtained a royal title and a luxurious life alongside Prince Harry, she had allegedly never abandoned her habit of exploiting other people's labor and expertise for her own commercial ambitions. The emergence of personal ventures such as the As Ever lifestyle brand and the activities of the Archewell Foundation now appeared, according to these allegations, to bear the marks of emotional exploitation and secret meetings conducted behind her husband's back. The chef, who had long tried to bury his past in Toronto so he could focus entirely on his culinary career, had once again been dragged into a whirlwind of controversy because of Meghan's persistent pursuit and what the former assistant described as flirtatious and inappropriate behavior. The assistant's testimony not only exposed what he characterized as the former Duchess of Sussex's relentless desire to exploit others, but also indirectly suggested that her silence in response to Prince William's warning email had not been the silence of an innocent bystander. Instead, it was portrayed as the fearful retreat of someone who knew that the darkest aspects of her conduct were gradually being brought into the light. The storm surrounding Meghan Markle continued to grow more intense, and control of the situation was no longer in her hands. What concrete evidence does the chef's former assistant possess to substantiate these explosive allegations? To prove that his explosive revelations were entirely true, the chef's former assistant did not rely on words alone. Instead, he immediately released a series of highly damaging pieces of evidence. The first consisted of numerous candid photographs secretly taken from concealed angles inside the restaurant and within the chef's private dining room. Although the images had been captured under dim lighting conditions or from side angles, anyone looking at them could easily recognize a figure with Meghan Markle's unmistakable physique, body shape, and hairstyle. In the photographs, the woman bearing a striking resemblance to Meghan was seen making unusually intimate, flirtatious, and suggestive gestures toward the chef, behavior that went far beyond the boundaries of an ordinary friendship with a former partner. However, the most devastating blow came in the form of the accompanying documents, a collection of handwritten letters allegedly written and sent by Meghan herself to the chef. The distinctive flowing handwriting, impossible to mistake, appeared to expose the full extent of her calculated intentions. In those letters, Meghan earnestly pleaded with the chef to use his influence and reputation to introduce her to wealthy and well-connected members of high society in the United States and Canada. Her true motive was stated plainly in the letters. She wanted to prepare an escape route in advance by securing powerful financial and social connections that could support her if she ever divorced Prince Harry and chose to leave the British royal family altogether. This chilling level of pragmatism stripped away the romantic image of what had long been celebrated as a real-life fairy tale marriage. As an unprecedented media storm swept across newspapers and social media platforms around the world, Meghan Markle could no longer remain silent. Realizing that both her reputation and her future in the United States were facing serious threats, she hurriedly released an official statement, categorically denying every allegation. Her statement was quoted in full as follows: "I am compelled to speak out regarding the malicious fabrications that are being spread with the deliberate intention of destroying both my personal reputation and my family." I state unequivocally that every report, every secretly taken photograph, and every handwritten letter released over the past several days is completely fabricated and is part of a coordinated smear campaign. Those photographs were carefully staged and manipulated through selective camera angles and technology to create false images of me. As for the handwritten letters, my handwriting has been blatantly forged by malicious individuals seeking to invent outrageous stories about my relationship with my former partner and my marriage to Harry. Our life together in California remains extremely happy and strong. We are currently taking the necessary legal steps to pursue those responsible for distributing these fabricated materials. I urge the public to remain clear-headed and not become complicit in spreading false and harmful misinformation directed at our family. Despite Meghan's hurried attempt to defend herself with firm and carefully worded denials, her effort to salvage her reputation failed completely. Because what the narrative portrayed as her deeply pragmatic, self-serving, and calculating nature had already been exposed through numerous previous scandals. This time, virtually no one believed her explanation, and not a single voice stepped forward to defend or support her against the overwhelming wave of public outrage. Online communities across the world collectively turned their backs on the former Duchess of Sussex. Her denials were widely dismissed as deceptive excuses and manipulative falsehoods intended to conceal what the allegations described as betrayal of her husband and exploitation of the royal family for personal gain. Major and minor online forums alike became flooded with fierce criticism. Meghan was increasingly viewed with contempt, seen as nothing more than an opportunist and a fortune hunter. Public anger grew so overwhelming that her statements in her own defense were rapidly buried beneath millions of expressions of outrage and calls for boycotts. With the situation completely beyond her control and no path left to reverse the tide, Meghan could do nothing but remain silent, enduring the backlash alone in profound isolation inside her Montecito mansion. Has Meghan's devastating defeat truly marked the end of the story, or is Prince William preparing to deliver one final decisive punishment to eliminate this threat once and for all? Meghan Markle's complete collapse in the court of public opinion across global media outlets and social media platforms became the decisive opportunity for the British royal family to restore order. Faced with a situation that had now been completely settled, with his sister-in-law's alleged opportunism and ambitions fully exposed before the public, Prince William decided that he could no longer afford to show even a moment of tolerance or compromise. Determined to protect the highest dignity of the British monarchy and permanently put an end to the ongoing media spectacles coming out of Montecito, the Prince of Wales chose to deliver one final decisive blow. Rather than issuing another conventional diplomatic press statement, William sent a direct ultimatum, cold, uncompromising, and carrying tremendous weight to both Meghan Markle's representative office and her personal email inbox. This stern warning, presented as a confidential written document, read like a final sentence: Meghan, what has unfolded over the past several days is the inevitable consequence of the misconduct, calculated schemes, and deception that you yourself have cultivated over many years. Every piece of evidence, from messages, emails, and schedule records to photographs and private handwritten letters exchanged with your former partner in Toronto, has been authenticated and is now entirely in our possession. Your silence and your weak public denials cannot conceal the undeniable truth about your ambition to exploit Harry and the British royal family for personal gain. I am issuing this unmistakable warning so that you fully understand where the final boundary lies. If in the future any additional evidence of similar deceptive, manipulative, or inappropriate conduct on your part comes to light, or if we discover that you continue to exploit the name of the British royal family, make use of royal titles, or employ any image associated with the monarchy for commercial purposes or personal profit, I will no longer show consideration for family ties or brotherhood. Remember my words, I will not rely on distant legal measures or send further warning letters. I will personally travel to the United States and take the strongest possible actions myself, stripping away every privilege and resolving this matter completely before both the law and the international public. This is your final opportunity to recognize your place and remain silent. William. This cold ultimatum, carrying an unmistakable message of deterrence from the Prince of Wales, struck Meghan Markle's last remaining hope of resistance in California, like a bucket of ice water. She understood all too well that when Prince William spoke in the name of the future of the monarchy, his words would be carried out at any cost. He was no longer the brother-in-law willing to compromise for the sake of family harmony. He now stood as a determined leader, prepared to do whatever was necessary to protect the very foundation of the royal family. Now, with Meghan's entire media arsenal rendered ineffective and the hard drive containing what the narrative describes as the darkest evidence from her past resting securely inside a protected drawer at the palace in London, Meghan Markle found herself completely isolated and on the defensive. Her silence inside the Montecito mansion was no longer an act of pride, but one of forced submission before Prince William's absolute authority and unwavering resolve. The story concludes with royal order firmly restored, leaving behind a powerful lesson about the price of greed and the consequences of pursuing status and personal gain through deception hidden in the shadows of the past. How do you feel about Meghan's alleged opportunism and Prince William's decisive intervention in this storyline? In your opinion, what lesson does this story offer about the price people ultimately pay for greed and deception in life? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the next video appearing on your screen. You'll enjoy it.